not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us.
Hello, and welcome to They're Not Sending Their Best. I am one of your hosts, Tim Phillippe, and with me, as always, is Andrew Turner. Today, we're going to be talking about all of the VP picks that are potentially going to be joining Trump on his journey to the White House or maybe to jail, either one. But first question, Andrew, how many brain cells did you kill researching this episode today?
Well, I killed quite a bit researching it. But then I started to consume large amounts of alcohol, and I think that really tempered the amount of stupidity that was going into my brain.
Right. So potentially evening in and out
the quality of our notes. But yeah.
Cool. Well, and I wouldn't, expect anything less because, at least to the beliefs that these people believe, I don't think they've really given much thought to them either, other than me want money now over your dead body.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure YouTube is loving all of the references to the D word and the K word. So hopefully that's not going to hinder us, but who knows? You can help us out though by subscribing to America the Podcast Presents or this show on whatever audio podcast format that you listen to, and it will help us out quite a bit. And TikTok as well, America the Conversation, America the Podcast, whatever you're feeling. Mm-hmm. But so Trump, he's got a lot of VP picks, and well, none of them are their best, like to say the least. Some of them I forgot existed. Like Tulsi Gabbard. Mm-hmm. When's the last time you heard that name? But we're going to start off with Andrew. What do you got? What do you think about all of this? What was your research like?
Trying to find Trump's número dos de crímenes was very interesting. I will say we're actually pulling a lot from a specific article in Axios. By Shireen Ha-Beishan. She is a reporter that works for them and is also an independent journalist, so check her out. Yeah. As well as a few other articles. We'll put all those either on screen or they will be in the bottom of the description of the episode, no matter whether you're getting this on Spotify or YouTube or wherever else you're finding this lovely cast. So
on YouTube, we can't technically link them, but they do have just the title of the article with the link. So just Google that, you'll find the article. So
or you can copy paste, but you can't click to link.
Yeah, you can't click on YouTube.
Well, I think that we should start off actually with, I ordered the list this way. Start off with your favorite boy, your pick, your choice for VP, I think.
Well, choice in name only. It's a baffling choice. Someone who, it's not a baffling choice just because he's been just licking that Trump boot for so long. And it's been very funny watching him.
He does enjoy the taste of Trump rich Corinthian leather. Yeah, I will agree with that.
I would say too, whoever plays him on SNL does a fantastic job because his voice is bizarre. It's like he swallowed all of the gravel and then joined the Republican Party. And his name is Tim Scott. He is a Republican senator, right? Senator Tim Scott, appointed by Nikki Haley, by the way, from South Carolina. One of the most prominent Black Republicans in the country. He did just suspend his presidential campaign to fully back DJT. He did not rule out becoming Trump's running mate. Said that State of the Union that the only thing I want is 4 more years of Donald Trump and the Republican majority of Congress. Big surprise, Tim. God, why the first Tim has to be so disappointing? There's no Tims in Congress either. It's just there's one and it has to be this son of a bitch.
We don't have to go into who Andrews were throughout history. So
yeah, that's true. Yeah, you do have 2 really bad Andrews. Yeah,
there's
Johnson and Jackson. But two specific.
Tate.
He's still
Andrew
alive.
Carnegie.
Yeah.
There's a lot of bad Andrews.
Oh, his name was Carnegie. Or his name was Andrew. I didn't know that. I just knew him by Carnegie. Whatever. I get one kind of bad Tim. You get a lot of bad Andrews. So I do.
There are no good Andrews but me. the more you know.
Oh my God.
I'm the only good Andrew.
Yeah. Hi, Andrew.
I am the high ender. I am the high ender.
That's right.
I am the high ender. There's only one good Andrew.
But also
in the multiverse, every other Andrew is horrible.
This is why, getting back to good old Tim, and not all the bad Andrews in the world, because there are a lot. Mm-hmm. But why I do think he might be the one, or it's just Trump really getting this guy's hopes up. When Trump was doing a town hall on Fox, he said, a lot of people are talking about that gentleman over there, and pointed at Tim Scott when they asked about his VP. And Tim lit up like a kid, like at a candy store. And my God, he won't be his VP pick. It would be maybe a smart move on his part, like, but it's definitely, I think it's going to be a woman, if not Carrie Lake outright. But still, he won't. What did you say right before we started? You said he's not. He's choosing within a month. So when from that point is he gonna choose? Or a month from the convention? That's what you said. So
like June 15th.
June 15th. Okay, so about June 15th, expect one of these
2 months.
Not their best to be
2 months. And this list will be narrowed down probably.
Oh yeah, like
to like
some
4,
of these,
you know.
Who is this next one you have on? I don't. I've heard this name, Elise Stefanik. Is that how I'm saying it? Like, I feel like I heard that just only because of the phonics from school, hooked on phonics or whatever it was called. It didn't work for me.
Yeah,
I can't read very well, so not a strong reader. But so what's it? Yeah, you talk about Stephanie Stefanik. No, Elise Stefanik.
I don't know where you're going with this bit.
I don't know. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not. I'm really not. It's not even a bit. It's just like I'm just like her name is. She's such a forgettable person that I've already forgotten her full name. Like, what is it? Like, she's not going to be VP.
She's the chair of the House GOP conference.
Oh, okay.
She was the first member of Congress to endorse Trump, which is why a lot of people think she's in the running.
Oh, okay.
And she's been campaigning with him up here in New Hampshire as well. When the New Hampshire primaries happened. Trump has also called her a killer before. She's a killer.
As in, like, she's killer at her job, or she's a murderer?
I think he just means, I think he means like in the business sense.
Oh,
like,
okay. I
like
got it.
a killer, a shark.
Yeah,
you know,
got it.
Yeah,
It's like, she's a killer. She ran over
She's
2 people back in 1983.
I'm not supposed to tell you all of that.
Was
but
with
Ted
Kennedy on that fateful night.
She swam out of the car. She did it. She ran away.
She ran away. She left that lady there. God.
She just left her to die like a dog.
That man became Supreme Court justice. Oh man, or did he? I don't think he did.
No.
His career was ruined after that. That's right. Never mind. He was going to be president.
Yeah, he didn't. But he did not get to do anything besides stay in the Senate the rest of his life.
God.
Yeah, she's also led the charge of like getting university presidents fired for not yelling at pro-Palestinian marches earlier this year and late last year.
Were they like word trapped those 3 presidents?
She was behind that.
Damn it.
So
wow.
Yeah,
all right.
She's definitely not the most memorable person, but she is loyal. Which I think is Trump's number one.
She's not the one. No. Who?
There's a picture of her in the document.
Oh, okay. I'll check her out in a second.
There is. It says insert image SI3 here.
SI3. Oh, right. There we go. And now you know our formatting. So feel free to dox us.
It's almost
or something.
like source image is what I do in my docs.
Source image. That's what it stands for. Okay. Well, yeah. She's not the one that wore the what do you call it? Because I want to scroll down, but the letter, the scarlet letter on her chest. That's not the same lady.
Was that her? I
don't know. Let me look at her real quick. No, wrong lady. Oh wow, she does not look how anything I thought she would. So never mind. I have no idea who that lady is. Super forgetful face, super forgetful person. You can see her on the screen right now because I have already edited that in. More behind the scenes for you. So the next one is JD Vance. He is one of Trump's most outspoken defenders and espouses the former president's populist views on immigration and the America First foreign policy, which is, you know, basically what the red guys did in Germany back in the 30s and 40s, except it was Germany first. Donald Trump Jr. said, I'd love to see JD Vance when he's talking to Newsmax about the shortlist, said that people who are principally aligned or people who are principally in alignment as well as aggressive. So JD Vance, pretty aggressive, pretty one of the most right-wing people.
Yeah, he's a big immigration
like he does not like the foreigners. So, but the next one is a blast from the past, and I hope to God he found his luggage. Who is he, Andrew?
That would be former HUD Secretary Ben Carson.
Did he find his luggage? That's the only thing I care about. I'm going to cut it in right here.
We just saw Mr. Trump here. I asked him, how did it go? And he said, great. And he said he learned a lot of things. What do you think he took away from today?
My luggage.
Do you remember the video I'm
I
talking
mean,
about?
Ben Carson, yes. Ben Carson is the most boring human being on the planet. So, I mean, it would make sense in the fact that he's a black man who is educated, that Trump can, also count as a sycophant and loyalist.
I mean, yeah.
But, and I don't think Trump wants anyone to upstage him.
Ben
but
would definitely not do that. Yeah.
Yeah, I also think that Trump does want somebody that he thinks is a star, baby. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think he wants to pick up on the meme-age of someone. So
Ben, I mean, he's a meme,
Ben,
definitely. Not in a good way.
Not
the
in the
meme
way
he
that you
wants.
want. No.
Where that was it just the general thing everybody made fun of him, where he's just it looks like he's half asleep. Like, I would not want him operating on my brain.
Yeah.
He's a brain surgeon, everybody. That man.
I mean, he may be a great brain surgeon. I think
that's
is,
fine.
right?
I think he is. He is a great brain surgeon. He's a genius brain surgeon. But why was he put in charge of HUD? Why is he in line to be the vice president? But that does kind of go to a thing of like, I think scientists should be more in politics, but not that one. Like, really, really not Ben.
Well, yeah. I mean, you can be you can be talented in one field and not in the other.
Yeah.
But
I shouldn't be a chef. I don't know. That's
pretty
that's
good
all
at
I got.
cooking.
Yeah, I can
I'm not
bake.
a chef, but
I'm a good cookie bakist.
I'm a better cook than a baker.
Yeah, but that doesn't matter. Is that what you came for, audience? To hear us talk about cookies? Because we can. I'd rather talk about cookies than any of these people. Like, so you tell me
That's
right
true.
now. No? Okay. They can't hear me in real time because it's the past. All right. So the next
true.
person is one I really do think is going to, well, actually, hold on. I take it back. I used to this was my, she's an obvious pick. But right now, she already lost the Republicans the state governorship in Arizona. And since Kirsten, I'm sure, careful with that. Well, actually, YouTube doesn't care about talking about the rigged election anymore. They fully let that happen all the time now. But no, it's Carrie Lake. She lost the governorship. She's already going to lose to in her Senate race. She's running for Senate right now. And I don't think that's why I don't think she would take the VP slot. I mean, if it was offered to her, she absolutely would. But since Kirsten Sinema, the middle of the road, independent, no labels person, finally just dropped out, most of those votes are likely just going to flee back to the Democrats. Some will probably go to Carrie Lake, but at the end of the day, she's a losing candidate. She's almost too crazy, but maybe not too crazy for Trump. No, she's a former.
Yeah, I don't think
maybe
that's
not too crazy for Trump.
calculation.
And that's up for debate. But
I
again,
think
she
Trump
did
likes her
lose
because she did. But she did the same thing he did. She modeled her response after him, which is like, yeah, it's all rigged. The Democrats are rigging the elections, and I think that he likes that. He also knows she's a news. Yeah. He likes the
Hear me out here.
Supports his argument that it's all rigged.
She is a carbon copy of him. Does he want a carbon copy of him, or does he want somebody who he can control, like Mike Pence? Because when they, I remember very vividly a story from John Kasich. He was approached to be the VP a while ago, and he said no. And Mike Pence, somebody who was just desperate for power, easy to control. She may be easy to control because she's a Trump fangirl. It's possible. I'm overthinking.
You say
this.
carbon. You say carbon copy like she's copying his abilities, but she's not. She's copying his mannerisms, right? She's a carbon copy in the way that the Penguins and the Joker's henchmen wear the same things that the Penguin and the Joker does.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
She's not another
just a shittier question mark shirt while the Riddler's
yeah,
got the whole thing going on.
No. If he switches to putting a grill on and putting tattoos on his face, they are too.
Yeah.
If one of them gets if Donald Trump gets half his face burned off by acid, they're all going to start putting a line down half their face and painting it a different color.
They're now two-faced. Yeah, exactly.
I think that's why he wants her, is because she's a fangirl. He wants somebody that when he says go into Congress and tell them they can't certify the next president, they'll do it.
Yeah, they
Like,
I think
that's what
they
he
will.
wants.
I think they'll. Yeah, okay. Yeah, you've got me more scared and convinced then, because like she may not win in Arizona, but you're right. She could win on a national thing of all the crazies like Marjorie who love her. But you know,
That's why I
and
think
she
she'd
like
take it.
yeah,
Yeah.
like so I do think she'd take it. I mean, but then that leaves Arizona with no senator on the Republicans, which is crazy to think of. Like why I don't know if the party would even be cool with that. Like
I mean,
because
the
then the
establishment would be
Democrat
mad about
absolutely
it.
wins.
Yeah.
Sure, but then you have
Yeah.
you have two Democratic senators and a Democratic governor, and Arizona is now a blue state at that point because you got Mike Kelly, right? Is that the astronaut who's the
Mark
head
Kelly.
of Mark Kelly? Sorry, and so
I've met Mark Kelly.
oh,
He's
that
chill.
is awesome as fuck. I'm very very jealous of that. Regardless, she is basically a clone of his, and maybe that's why people like her. She was a TV anchor. She's a firebrand. She's like as orange as he is.
Holy
and
shit!
like,
I've met someone who went to space.
yeah,
I didn't even
you had-
realize that.
who was
That's
in space for
awesome.
a long time, like too.
Whoa,
Yeah, he was
that's
a-
awesome.
I think he was in space for
I was
like,
oh, cool. Like,
I think he's the
a
longest
politician.
guy
Like,
to go
I
up.
see politicians all the time. Like,
yeah.
but like, yeah, the fact that he's an astronaut makes me be like, wait, whoa.
Yeah, man. Like, I think he was in
That's
space for longer than anybody. Like, I think he might, I could be
Damn.
wrong on that, but he was definitely he was in space long enough to where he is,
That's
somehow
so cool.
younger than his
I wanna go to
brother now.
space so bad.
Like, because his brother, he's got a twin brother. Like, it was a weird article I read that NASA put out, but
Mhm, mhm.
regardless, no,
Yeah.
I could talk
Yeah.
about Mark
Yeah, they
Kelly all
sent-
day. That, I'd much.
If I remember right, NASA sent them up at separate times and then together, and then tracked like how it affected their
Yeah,
bodies. and
yeah, that's
such.
right. Yeah.
Which makes sense as twins. Like,
God, see, why can't Mark Kelly be president? Like, God, whatever. He's.
you do not you always do this, Tim. You find some politician where you hear one good story, and
I
you're
want a
like,
good
oh,
story,
they'd be
yeah.
good, and I'm like, they're gonna wind up sucking. You know,
I
that.
know he's gonna wind up sucking. Like, but well, his wife is, his wife was almost assassinated, so they're very anti-gun.
Yeah.
So I can definitely see a
Yeah.
lot of good things with gun regulation
I
happening
mean,
with them.
yeah.
So, but was it his? It doesn't matter. It was his wife though.
Mhm.
Okay, next person, a person I forgot existed. Andrew. I can't believe she's around and
Yeah.
even on this list.
Tulsi, old Tulsi,
Tulsi Gabbard. left
Tulsi
the Democratic
Gabbard.
Party to be an independent, then dropped out of off the face of the
Yeah,
earth.
she was Kristen Cinema before Kristen Cinema was Kristen Cinema. Yeah,
before it was cool.
She acted like she was like anti-establishment in the Democratic Party and like went with like the most progressive things, but she also like was pretty homophobic regularly throughout her tenure as a Democrat, and she left the party in 2022 officially to become an independent.
As they do.
She's been
Republican
really
in name
critical of
only, or
Biden
without
and
name.
taking as many. Yeah. She's been taking a lot of Fox News spots essentially to talk shit about Biden.
Oh,
as
really?
much as she can over the last few years. And at 42 last year, she had the highlight of her career being the keynote speaker at CPAC. Said
Oh my
that
God.
Trump's Democratic critics have the mentality of dictators. So
Says the man who wants to be a dictator and said as much. Oh my God.
yeah, that is the man she's advocating for. Yeah.
Okay. Man,
And the
Tulsi.
fact that she is a woman, she's young. I think
Super
that this
young.
factors
My
into
God, I did not
Republicans.
know she was that old.
Yeah, this factors into Republican voting like ideas. She's attractive. Like I think that she's a young, attractive woman who
a
is
cool
not
robe
too
stripe in her
ethnically
hair.
spicy. Yeah. Well, don't get mad at people who have swoopy hair and have a big
I have. I
silver
got it right.
streak
No, I
in
mean,
it.
it's cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, it's big swoops in your hair with a big silver streak in it. It's fine, Tim.
yeah, I'm complimenting it. I said she has a super cool rope thing in her hair. I have one in my beard.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
I know you have one. We're old now, man. We got so much. We're not
Stop
even old.
calling me out.
No, we're not even old. We just have been stressed out
I'm
so
old.
goddamn much. We got
That's true,
gray
too,
in our
though.
20s.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, that's true.
She's probably
That's
so
true.
goddamn stressed out. It just whoop, she probably saw a ghost and her hair went white. Who knows? But or
She
just
saw the ghost of Christmas past and then told him to fuck off.
yeah, and they're like,
Um,
okay, boop, white hair. That's what you get.
Tulsi is a typical grifter. She's somebody who started off on the left, like a Tim Pool, like a Destiny,
John
like
Fetterman.
yeah, like a Fetterman, who like is somebody who will say all the nice things to the far left to get a platform, and then immediately will go where the money be.
Yeah.
And that's and I think that she is a young, attractive woman who is obviously well spoken and is ethnically not too spicy, and I think that factors into all of Trump's
Spicy.
picks. Where I wonder is she's too outspoken and too strong for him to pick. But
She's also got the
I
baggage
think
from
it would-
like her dad.
I think
too.
I think it would be the politically wise decision to pick someone like her. I think Carrie Lake is too crazy. I think if you pick Tulsi
Yeah.
Gabbard, you can run the line like I used to be a Democrat, and you can have her do that all the time. But now the Democrats are crazy. So yeah. But now I gave you this person because I would have just like started screaming at the camera because he is the one I hate the most on this list.
Really,
So,
he's the one you hate the most. It's funny, like
personally.
him and
No,
Tulsi.
like,
I
find me,
don't.
dog.
Yeah,
Vivek, no, dog, find me like right now. I'm calling you out on the internet. Like, find me. Send me your location.
Yeah.
Like, if you're down,
Plenty
and
of head to
we can
punch.
legally do it. Yeah, I will.
if you're down.
Let's find a state where it
It's
is legal
Logan
for
Paul
us.
and
I
Mike
think it's
Tyson
legal in
this.
Texas. I think we can do it in Texas as long as we both agree to it.
You
Let's
can.
meet. I will meet you at noon
think.
at the Fort Worth Stockyards of a day of your choosing, sir.
I think
And
you
I
just
will-
have to go
I
in
would- I would like
unincorporated
to rabble.
territory, like any sort of like unincorporated area. I think you're legally allowed to do something like that. I know there's
Perfect.
a cop told me that, but a cop. Why am I believing a cop? I don't know. But no, I don't. I do not like him either
Fuck
because
Vivek.
he's as one of our episodes called him Reddit incarnate.
Yeah.
But he and Tulsi, it's because they're brown folks. I don't think they're going to be given the time of day. Like. They may think and Nikki for that matter, that racism doesn't exist in this country, but it absolutely does. If you ask any Trump supporter, we're like, oh, I don't like his religion or some shit like that. Like, I mean, because she has
I
like
think
the past with her dad, and I think the former head of Egypt or something like that, or Iran. I don't remember what it was with her that she got a bunch of flack for that for a second. And then again, Vivek Ramaswamy, who is just, I mean, he's not a failed businessman, but he's not really a good one, and plenty of you
Trump.
MAGA folks are gonna. I know that's
Trump
why
can't
they,
even pay his bond.
that's why they fit so good. Oh, well, he can if he sells his buildings, but he can't do that. That'll take a lot of time. Different
I
episode.
could have swore he
different
told us
thing.
that he had billions of dollars.
Oh, I know he did.
could've-
He said that. You can say those things. I can say that I am from the Fey realm. It doesn't make it true. Am I? You figure
I mean,
it out.
I could say I'm from the Fey world.
And that's the end of that sentence. So Vivek, though, he dropped out first, right? Did he drop out first, or did Ron drop out
Well,
first?
I don't know that he dropped. There was technically other people who dropped
There
out.
was.
He
Okay.
was the last of the actually viable second
yeah,
place.
viable. Yeah, exactly.
Like
You
he was the
Vivek
last like
stands are
hot
weird,
candidate.
by the way. I'm talking to Vivek people directly. You are weird. And that's
And
the
you
end of
should
that
take a
sentence.
shower.
You should take a shower and like go.
Stop, like you can only play Helldivers 8 hours a day, boys. Come on.
Why are they
Let's go
playing
take a shower.
Helldivers? There's trans flags in it. They don't want any of that shit in there. That game's for us.
Yeah, they're just RPing as Nazis, though. You know that.
Oh,
they don't
fair
get
enough.
it.
Yeah.
It's like people who watch
Fair enough.
Starship Troopers and are like, or people who are like, Paul Atreides is dope, and you're like, you don't really get the point.
You
of
didn't
the
watch
movie,
the.
do you?
Did you? There's a miniseries of Dune that keeps going, and Paul Atreides turns out to be very bad, and then the book keeps going, and his son turns out to be even worse.
No, that's why Herbert wrote the sequels.
I know.
It's because so many people kept writing letters to him like, Paul Atreides is so cool, and he's like, you don't get it.
You don't get Paul. You don't get Paul.
Yeah, he's not the good guy. That's why they even
He's
rewrote
better than the
movie to where
Harkonnens, but he's still not a good guy.
Yeah.
Like,
well, better than the Harkonnens in that moment. He
Yeah.
leads a jihad of 6.2 billion people. Never mind. It doesn't matter.
I know. We could.
I'm not going to get into Dune right now.
Oh, we're gonna get into Dune someday because I could talk about Dune forever. Love Dune.
But anyways, Vivek he was like the first, and when he dropped out, he immediately endorsed Trump. It wasn't like
with. I think that
anybody
he
else.
dropped out on stage with him or something like that. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
like something.
Yeah,
it was
yeah,
something
yeah.
ridiculous. Yeah,
like he
he's.
planned his dropout to be like walking out on stage with Trump, if I remember right. Yeah,
He really baffles me. Like of just.
but I don't think he'll get it because he is not a Christian, and I think Trump's
he's
scared
not.
that'll alienate his evangelical.
Anybody
base.
who is to the MAGA crowd, and go ahead and yell at me all you want. I don't care because I don't listen to you. I roll my eyes and I respond with a question mark or a laugh emoji every time. But anybody brown to the MAGA crowd is not a Christian. It does not matter if you're Latinx, if you are from India, anybody. If you have a tip to your skin,
I don't know about
I
that.
absolutely believe that. And
No, there's a lot of Latinos, especially that
there
people
are.
definitely believe are Christian,
But even then,
that
like,
are Republican.
Nikki Haley could be a Christian. I mean, I don't know if she is or not, but they would still paint her as a.
I think she is,
They would paint her as a Muslim, even though she's Indian. They would same with Vivek.
Right,
They would.
no, Vivek is
I know.
is Hindi.
But they don't know
there's
what
no
that
way
is.
they're going to vote for somebody. Yeah, they
To
just
that
think he's
crowd,
Muslim.
they just think he's Muslim.
I saw-
Hindu? You mean Muslim?
I saw three
Yeah.
or four different Republicans on different like clips, including Daily Show and all that kind of stuff, being interviewed. Like, I like Vivek, but you know,
I don't like that he's
a
Muslim.
Muslim. So yeah. It's like, God damn. Like, yeah,
It's
I
like
mean, yeah.
God, it's the people on like the by this time it's old, but like the new Star Wars Acolyte trailer just came out, and the reaction of it was, "It's all woke now." Okay, well, how is it woke? You didn't really hear much dialogue or anything in it. Like, what's woke about it? Well, you know why it's woke.
Yeah.
Because there's black people and Asian people in it. Well, I mean,
Dude,
there's a red
dude,
lightsaber. It breaks
dude, we
canon.
can't-
I'm like,
we have to
okay,
come up
shut
with a
up.
different podcast for this. We can't
I
dive
know.
into this
We
because all I want to talk about
Is
is
that.
X-Men 97 getting called woke.
Oh,
and I'm
Lord.
like,
don't ruin
yo,
it for me. I
if
haven't
you
watched
call-
it yet.
If you call X-Men in any iteration woke, you're an idiot. Like
Idiot.
you've never read X-Men. Like, yeah, it's woke, baby.
Yeah,
Like,
and
the whole
but that
comic
dude
is based
Vivek
on
even
being
said
woke.
something along those lines about, I think it was X-Men or Star Wars. It was something along calling something that is obviously very a progressive thing woke. And it's like, dude, he is so dumb. He just doesn't like. He is those people. He is the kind of guy that is calling X-Men or Star Wars too woke because it's got black people in it and gay people in it. Like, whatever. Talk about
Star Wars
Christy
is an
Noem.
allegory for the Viet Cong fighting in the United States. But whatever.
Say that all
Whatever.
day. But they won't think it.
Whatever.
Nope, the Democrats of the empire. Okay, tell me more. Talk to.
That's why they have those big red and black banners and those.
God Almighty.
And they have literal stormtroopers. I wonder who that's modeled after.
Yeah.
The stormtroopers.
Yeah. This next person, though, the only thing, speaking of Star Wars, I can say of somehow Michelle Bachmann has returned, just in a different form, because this lady is giving me
clone of
real
Michelle
Michelle
Bachmann,
Bachmann vibes.
Yeah.
What's Christy Noem? Is that how you say her name?
Yeah, gnome.
Gnome.
Like a gnome.
Gnome.
Like
okay.
a gnome. Like
Got
a
it.
tiny gnome.
Got it.
Christy Noem, yeah, she's the governor of South Dakota, and she's just a big Trump sympathisant, and nobody knows her. And I think that she's enough of a suck up and not enough of a star that he might do it. I mean, I think he wants a star, but he also doesn't want someone to outshine him. So it's like that middle ground of like, can you be good on camera, but also are you going to always talk about me?
Sure.
Like,
right. I just read ahead.
so-
That's why my eyes got big.
Yeah, Trump said, she said I'd never run against him because I can't beat him. That was a very nice thing to say. And then in February, she told Fox News that they talk all the time, but they two had never had a conversation about her potentially being a running mate. And apparently she may have had an affair with Trump aide Corinne Lewandowski.
Yeah.
So
isn't he in
hurting her
jail?
chances.
Isn't he was one of the people that was put on
I mean,
trial.
you flip
now, or
a
is he-
coin. If you work for Trump, you might be in jail.
He
at
might
this
be in
point.
jail. Yeah, I think he's one of the ones that got something. I don't remember, but that was like, oh shit, she had an affair with Corey Lewandowski. That's hilarious. Another thing she did, though, and this gets to our next guy actually, is that she pledged to do it or she did it. I don't remember, but she sent National Guards people down to Texas to help with the border crisis that doesn't exist down here. It does. It does exist, which is not in the way they paint it. But
it's not a
yeah,
crisis. It's a
not
man-made like
crisis.
problem.
Thank you.
Like,
It's
like,
a
it's an
man-made
easily
crisis, yeah.
fixable man-made problem.
God,
Like,
like 100 judges more, and it's pretty much fixed. That's a very simplistic.
I mean,
way.
appoint a
I'm
bunch
sorry.
of judges, like open a bunch of crossings, like start putting people down in the blocks. Like, let's get
putting
the process
razor
going.
blades
Pass a big
under
bill.
the water. You goddamn asshole.
Yeah, exactly. Instead of draconian fascist fucking.
Yeah, and that asshole who did that
Genocide
put
shit.
buoys of razor blades under the Rio Grande to prevent folks from crossing is Greg Abbott. I cannot believe he's on this list, and I cannot believe he won. This man, audience, he's not going to do it. He would never consider it. Well, no. In this moment, I'm just hold on. In this moment, I'm just realizing he would be leaving, in his words, maybe the state in capable hands with Ken Paxton or Dan Patrick, who's our lieutenant governor. I get them confused because their names are basically the same. Whatever, whichever one is the lieutenant governor. Anymore. He's terrible. He basically. None of this is written down.
Dan Patrick,
Dan, the
guy with the guy who
glasses?
looks like, he looks like a like how you would make a white guy in a horror movie. That's
Yeah,
actually
he
the
kind of
killer.
looks like Prager, what too as well. He resembles like they're the same
younger
mold of a
Prager.
person.
Yeah,
Younger.
He's the
I guess he is
second
younger.
He's the second evolution in the
Dennis
Prager.
Prager,
Like, yeah, he's the second evolution in the Prager Pokemon line.
Yeah, he's awful. He basically he's done a thing in Texas, and this isn't Abbott. Well, Abbott signed off on this, but because of all the way our politics is here now, the lieutenant governor now has control over Houston School District. There is no more, I believe there's no more school board. I know they fired all of the librarians in a certain area, if not all of Houston.
Yeah, get the fuck out of there. I'm so glad I left Texas.
I'm trying. But they're trying to do the same thing to Austin. They're basically trying to make it to where cities cannot govern themselves, especially
Party of small government.
If the GOP doesn't like them. And pretty universally in Texas, San Antonio, Houston, Fort Worth, Dallas, and Austin are all hyper
where
progressive,
the people live.
where the people live. Waco is the only Christian city, but it's basically one big suburban town with a college. There's not a building.
Yeah.
There's not a skyscraper in sight that I've seen.
No. I'm sure
Maybe there is.
I'm sure there's a bunch of like little red suburban dots all throughout even DFW. Like,
I'm not saying there is, but the majority of the city, like the DFW Metroplex
the
as a
city's
whole,
proper.
Yeah,
That's
what I mean. Like, there's churches everywhere, but it's still they're going to vote.
Well, I'm just like
more
Euless
center to
went blue
left.
for like my hometown. Euless went blue for the first time in like 2020.
Euless wasn't blue with all those Tongans there. You think that like there's so many like
dude, there's been like Tongan representatives that were Republican. I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, really?
Like,
Oh, wow. That's just weird to me. I don't know why that's weird to me.
a lot of them are Mormon. A lot of them are the only good type of
they are
Republican.
Mormons. Oh wow, they are Mormons.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. All right, that makes sense to me. It's been a while, and I shouldn't make universal statements about entire culture.
No,
but
you should not.
I should not. But Euless, I don't know.
I do miss
Euless
my
felt
Tongan
like-
brothers and sisters, though, man, so much. I miss y'all. Y'all are one of the few things I do miss about Texas and Euless specifically.
Yeah, they're that's why I've been friends with a few of them. Like they didn't come off as Republican to me. I don't know. That just is weird.
Well,
weird
and
thing
you
to hear
also know
Euless isn't
local politics is totally different. Like
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
Like when you run for like anything that's like city level, rarely, unless it's like Chicago or Dallas or LA, like does your party actually factor into it at all? Like
technically Fort Worth's Republican. They have a Republican.
Like I'm telling you right now, if I lived in like some town of like 30,000 or less in Texas and I wanted to run for mayor, I would run as a Republican. I wouldn't have any Republican policies. I wouldn't, but it would just say Andrew Turner Republican on the signs on it.
Shit. That was a bad idea. You should do that, leftists. Go do that. Anybody who's go run for mayor. Go run for mayor. Every one of you watching this show, if you are watching, no one's watching this show. You're probably listening to it. If you're listening to the show, go run for mayor.
Go run for office.
Go run for office. Local office and change it. Run as a Republican if you have to. Lie. They do it. It's fine. Lying's fine in America. No,
we're tangenting again.
Whatever. Greg Abbott is going to focus on governing Texas. He's not going to.
Maybe. We'll see. But either way, Greg Abbott is the only complaint I have about trees, and that's that they didn't finish the job.
There's so many stickers in Austin of that. Well, no, I won't out this person, but I know of a human being in Austin who made some of those stickers, and they sold very well. Or like support trees. They might finish Greg Abbott off, I think is what it's.
Yeah,
like plant a tree. It was like plant a tree.
It might fall on Greg Abbott.
That's what it was.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
So he's not. And I should say, just for the context of why I don't think Greg's going to do it, I don't think any governor is going to do it. Greg Abbott, especially because he controls like the fifth largest economy in the entire world. So like, he's not giving up that.
I mean,
he has more power than the president.
I think if Greg was offered it, the thinking that he has to think is, am I going to lose future power because of this, right? Because what comes with VP is that you have a very good chance of becoming president next, straight up. And like for all of history, he will be known as a vice president, especially what happens if Trump dies, he could be president immediately. Like being VP is a big advancement on your political career for sure. But the question is does he think Trump's going to actually win?
No.
And
I don't think he does.
I don't know. I don't know if he thinks that or not. I don't know how much of the Kool-Aid he drinks, and I don't know if Trump's going to win or not. So, but yeah, I may the trees fall in the right direction.
Part of me is on the side of a lot of polls are out there just to scare us a little bit. That's more of a conspiratorial brain in me, but it's just like
I think it's less. Yeah, I think it's less organized than that. I think a lot of polls are landlines and old people answer.
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like it's more like because of that, because of all the other people who don't use landlines, like, and that aren't taking the $20 surveys that the New York Times sends them or whatever. Like, they do pay for polls. That's how it works. Fun fact. So I don't know. Next person, so we can stop tangenting and not let this episode be over an hour, because it's probably going to be that.
Yeah. Katie
Britt, the woman who will never be vice president. that I can assure you.
We got a picture of her famous speech right here. Yeah, she's the lady who gave the State of the Union response to Biden's most latest State of the Union. We had a whole podcast about it. If you want to hear about her, you can go listen to that, because she's pretty irrelevant and she screwed up real bad, and she overacted, and it was bad.
Bad.
Up next, someone Tim didn't know who they were.
I don't know who this man is. Byron Donalds. Oh, Donald will never choose him. His last name's Donald. He almost didn't hire that mustachioed fucking guy that hates Iran because his mustache was too big and weird.
John Bolton.
John Bolton. He almost didn't hire John Bolton because his mustache was weird.
The guy who admitted we've done coups on democracies on TV. Yeah,
Holy shit.
I love by John Bolton, and by love I mean I hope he.
Oh God, I can't wait
in hell.
To pee on his grave. But yes, Byron Donalds is a Republican from Florida. He's only been in Congress since 21, but the Freedom Caucus Republican has strong support from all of the conservatives. He'd definitely passed Trump's loyalty test, and Donald suggested Thursday at an Axios event that he would be willing to decline to certify the 2028 election results if he were vice president. So,
which I think is Trump's key thing, for sure.
Trump's key thing, and I say a disqualifying thing for anybody else, but what are you going to do?
What are you going to do?
That's
up next is the daughter of one...
The dopest
Mike
bass
Huckabee.
player you've ever seen.
The dopest bass player that we know. Friend of the show, Mike Huckabee. Come on anytime you want, Mike.
Yeah, I will jam with you, Mike.
Dude, Tim will jam with you.
Me, Gutfeld will fucking go, dude. Like,
go
let's
fucking jam. I'll have some venison with y'all. It'll be so chill.
I do like venison a lot.
Venison is
really
good. And it'll be fresh. You know, Mike's
Can this be
bringing
a
that
venison
fresh
podcast
deer.
now? Because that would be great.
Dude, we would just start chilling with Mike Huckabee talking about venison. I would do that.
Yeah.
His daughter and the former the thing that she should actually be known for instead of her father, I suppose. Trump's White House press secretary, Sarah Huckabee
Lord.
Sanders.
God. I remember that. I totally blanked on the fact that she was that.
Yeah, she's definitely sycophanted enough, but she did say that she had no interest in the job. But she's on the short list, apparently.
Again, another governor. But that brings us to another woman who reasonably should, like, she is one, despite the fact that Trump hates her, I think she's the best choice for them to win.
Yeah, me too. I think
this is the
get her voters.
only way you get her fucking middle centrist
Moderate
voters,
Republicans. Yep.
and then you get your Trumpers, and you win. He would be an idiot not to choose her. I'm a little scared he's going to, but we'll see. It's Nikki Haley, former UN ambassador, former governor. I mean, shit, she's got the chops to be a leader, a bad one, but you know.
How does the song go? I always hear it in my head as like, we need you Christmas. Like,
we need you, Nikki, right now.
That's what it is.
To save this nation.
Yeah.
I was stuck in my head for a week after
Nikki.
editing that fucking episode. Oh my God.
Oh, and it's Panic at the DNC sings the emo version of it. That's the name of the band.
Shoot, I need to see that. We got copyright flagged on that episode, but it was because they allow people to use it because they just need that song to be put out. So I was like, I got copyright stricken, and I was like, this does not affect your video. You can do something about it. I'm like, I don't really want to. I don't want to. I don't want to. I would like to make money off of their song if I can. It won't happen. But so yeah, she refused to endorse Trump. I also don't think she would. Well, I don't know. She would take the VP slot if offered it. And said nominating Donald Trump would be suicide for the country. Apparently, she doesn't know how to say self-harm yet. But that makes her an unlikely choice, though. Again, like we just said, it would be the most obvious choice. If you want to win all of that, like if he wants to win, the guy loves winning. You choose Nikki Haley. I hope he doesn't see this, and I hope he does not take my advice. Luckily, he won't. But that's all for the major. That's all for the major ones.
No,
wait, hold on. A new challenger has appeared. He's small, he's mighty, and he's thirsty.
He's thirsty.
Marco Rubio.
Senator Marco Rubio. Yes, that's right. As of this morning. And
He's really short, too. Shorter than Ron DeSantis, I think, which is crazy.
In an NBC News article that came out 2 days ago, and as of this morning with updated, written by Dasha Burns, Matt Dixon, and Jonathan Allen. We'll put that on screen now as we read it. Tallahassee, Florida, Senator Marco Rubio is moving up the list of former President Donald Trump's potential vice presidential picks, according to 6 people familiar with the presumptive Republican nominee's search for a running mate.
It's a terrible choice.
Rubio is hardly alone in the field. The cast of his hopefuls for the job is large enough to fill an entire season of The Apprentice. Trump's estimated number at 15 in an interview on March 13 with Newmax, and one of the news sources said that Representative Elise Stefanik, retired neurosurgeon Ben Carson, and Senator Tim Scott are among those in the mix. The list is long, and it's extremely early in any kind of process, a Trump advisor said. No one has been directly reached out to yet, and I do not expect that for some time. 2 sources familiar with the planning said there is a growing consensus around a June announcement for a vice presidential pick, at least a month before the convention. But there is no firm plans yet. Trump, you want to take the other half of that, Tim?
Sure, but Trump's apparent... I love the end part of this so much. I can't wait to get to it because it's so true, and this is why it's such a bad idea. But Trump's apparent seriousness about Rubio, who's 52, which... Good job, Rubio. You look good for 52. A third-term senator hints that his priorities and presence and intriguing set of potential complications. Sorry, I think I need glasses now. Rubio is a young. You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna read the end. It's pretty clear from Trump's orbit that Rubio is in play, said one veteran Florida GOP operative. It makes sense because he checks almost every box if they can get past the fact that they're both from Florida. I don't think the country will. It'll be a national joke. Florida, like choosing the president and vice president, having that, like, one, Trump isn't from Florida, but he, I guess, lives there now. He's from Jersey, right? Or he's from specifically New York. It doesn't matter. That's the worst idea. When has anybody heard anything from Marco Rubio in the past while? Like the man, the only way you're winning politics at this point is if you're some sort of a firebrand.
The last time I remember Marco Rubio in the news, it was right after a shooting in Florida, one of the bigger ones. And there's so many now. Yeah. And then a kid challenged him about not passing any gun laws in Florida. And he had no good response. Yeah. So
yeah, that's such a silly, the fact that he's moving up in the ranking on this, I guess, is that's dumb. I can't even no.
I think the thinking is he'll get more Latino voters.
Oh shit, that he is concerned about that, but I don't think he really is, man. Especially not in Florida. I don't know. What does Don struggle with the most? Do you know that offhand? Is it Latinos? Is it women? Is it black folks? What is he technically struggling
with?
Women
and black people.
Women and black people.
Would be the biggest,
so then he either has to pick Tim, who can be a perfect, just a empty suit to pass things through Congress with that extra vote and not certify the next election once that happens, or Kerry. They're the only two that make sense to me in all this whole list, because Katie Britt, absolutely not. Most of these people up and down this list are wet blankets at most. Elise Stefanik, such the most forgettable person I've ever looked at in my life. JD Vance,
let me talk about
incredibly forgettable person. Byron Donalds, obviously not.
Like I said, this is a compilation of people from multiple sources across the internet over the past few days from mainstream media. And I'm sure that a lot of them have sources that these people are on a list of some sort. But what I think qualifies Trump picking for VP is very different than what I think a lot of the mainstream media does. And I do think that there is a 16th possible nominee as well, which we will get at the end of this thesis and support. A dark horse candidate,
the dark horse. Yeah, this one I'm actually more in line with, but I'll get to why I don't think it'll work in a second. But once you get to it,
so I think Trump has 3 major influences on him that the mainstream media would agree with me on: a wild card 4th influence, and then a 5th dark horse influence, a conspiracy theory that I have that I think is cool. behind his decision on who's going to be his running mate and possibly the next vice president of the United States. So what are those factors? Number one, I like to call it the white picket fence. What he learned from Mike's betrayal. Number two, the kiss the ring factor. Essentially, he wants somebody that's a sycophant that's going to do whatever he says. Number three, the ghost of neocon past. There is an establishment influence, as there is with everything in politics here, and who they want him to pick. They're definitely putting suggestions in front of him. People like Mitch McConnell, people like Supreme Court justices that are conservative, people like donors. That's who those suggestions are going to be when you see suggestions like Stefanik and like others that are kind of boring, but would do what the establishment says and maybe be a check on him. And then finally, the wild card, before we get to the dark horse, which I want to make separate, the wild card is money. That's what I want, the brokest billionaire boy. He also needs money right now. So who can generate him money by being a pick? Who can bring along a war chest? Whether that's from like rich people or that's, And that's where I think Nikki has one thing. Yeah. Well, and I mean, there's a couple others. I think that what's her name who gave the State of the Union speech would get a bunch of rich people to give him money.
Katie Britt?
Katie Britt. I think
really?
anybody
After
who's
that?
establishment. I think anybody who's they don't care who they are. They just want him to be a check on him and like to tell him he can't do stuff because the establishment will get mad. Yeah. So those are the four big influences. And we don't have to dive in depth to any of them, but I think that that's really what's motivating him, right? Like he wants somebody who's not going to betray him like Pence when it comes down to the wire, who will do whatever he says. He wants somebody who is going to be out there openly kissing his ass regularly and good at doing it on camera. And then the establishment is trying to get him to pick someone as well to influence that choice, to be someone that can hold him back. The fourth is that he wants somebody who can get money into his war chest, both for his own personal legal bills as well as his campaign for presidency. And then the fifth thing that I think could influence it, which Tim and I have talked about before, is what if he picked his son? Yeah. Insert image here. Secret.
Well, that's not
player
even
unlocked.
Yeah, I don't even think we're the only people that have thought about this. Like I heard.
Well, it means he gets a pardon if he wins,
sure,
no matter what.
Like, I mean, there's no precedent for it, but it doesn't really matter. Like that, you can choose whoever you want as long as they're a citizen and legal age, basically.
I think the only reason there's not a rule you can't pick your kid is because they thought no one will ever pick their kid. That would be so blatantly
no one
corrupt.
thought they would do half the shit that we're doing. That's why we're having this constitutional crisis right now.
This was a joke on House of Cards as like a
with
turn,
Claire and
is that he
Frank.
made his wife his vice president.
That's the only thing I can think of as precedent for this.
Thought of
did you watch House of Cards?
No way that would actually happen.
Yeah, yeah, and he did, and like I think it could happen, but here's why I absolutely don't think it'll happen. He thinks his kids are fucking dipshits. Like he would not trust them to like use a plastic fork like on anything to not poke their own eyes out. Like so much so, I just found this out. Do you know when Eric's birthday is? January 6th.
January 6th.
Son of a bitch. Like I mean that's he. It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't necessarily mean he forgot Eric's birthday, but we all know he did. And we knew he forgot it even before January 6th happened. Just a weird fact I found out. But he does not like his kids. He doesn't like his kids. Yeah, and he likes Ivanka. I can see Ivanka. That's who I can see him
the only scenario which just happens is, and no, Ivanka wouldn't do it.
No, she wouldn't. That's the only thing. She wouldn't do it.
And
DJT Jr. would.
Not only that, I don't think he'd pick her. I think he's pissed at her now.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I think DJT would do it.
No, he absolutely would, but he wouldn't.
The only way that this happens is if he's like convicted for one of these indictments and is going to prison and can't be the president himself, right? Yeah. So like that's when he picks his son to be VP, if that happens early on somehow. And then that way he knows even if he goes to prison, when he's elected and the Republican Party kicks him out of the office because he's in prison, because they would, most likely, I would think, that his son will immediately become president. His son will issue a pardon, pull him back, nominate him as vice president, step down, and let his father become president.
So multiple problems with that too. One, I think the second Don is Jr. is president, he's not going to let his dad out. Why not? He's president now. Why would the fuck would he do that? He can't do anything to him now. He's in jail. Two, if he picked his son,
that is how most coups when you involve your son.
Exactly. Literally, Don loves his dictators. Well, don't do this because this is exactly how every dictator gets fucking put in jail
I don't know.
or
For America
unalived.
the show,
Like,
if this is all a simulation for America the show, like
Sure.
he picks Don, he wins, and then Don assassinates his own dad as vice president is pretty dope.
yeah,
as a show.
I can see that happening. But I can also, in the real world that we unfortunately have to live in, is that if he does pick him, nobody will vote for that. His absolute crazy hardcores will, but the rest of the establishment would go
That's
flooding
the only people
to
voting him now.
Huh?
It's the only people voting for him now.
But see, and that's why I'm more on the side now that I'm less worried than I have been, because like that, there are so many centrists that don't want to vote for him. Like there are so many Nikki Haley people that don't want to vote for him, and I just think they'll stay at home. I don't think they'll vote for Biden.
Let me give you a scenario.
You're gonna say yes, blah blah blah. Someone dies in October.
No,
no.
Guys, how about this? Yeah. In early October, Bibi Netanyahu calls Donald Trump because the Gazan war is still going on, and he says, "I tell you what, I will announce a ceasefire if you win, and you can tell the media that. I'll go on air with you." And then all of a sudden, Donald Trump runs on, "If I win, Bibi's going to stop." Because that happened with Vietnam and Nixon.
Yeah.
That exact thing happened.
Well, I mean, but the thing is, Biden's already calling for a ceasefire now. Like the voting uncommitted works. So like, but that's what I'm saying. Trump doesn't have that. Biden's already doing that.
But
so
he
would
would have it if Bibi Netanyahu said, "I'll come out and say I'll do a ceasefire if Trump's president." I'm comfortable with Trump negotiating that. I'm not comfortable with Biden.
Sure, maybe that's possible, but then like I see a lot of people seeing straight through that. But you never know. Like, sure. And yeah, that's
it worked with Nixon.
Uh-huh.
I mean, like, I think that so many what ifs that we don't know could happen in between now and then that could change that dynamic. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. But I definitely don't see the electoral base going for Donald Trump and Donald Trump Jr. I think that's a step too far for a lot. Maybe it's not. Maybe I could be wrong. It's such an out there thing.
But Donald Trump was an out there crazy thing like 8 years ago.
Kind of, not really. By looking at history,
exact same conversation in the primary in 2015, 2016. It would have been the same conversation. It would have been like, yeah, I just don't see a lot of Americans voting for like a reality TV show.
Sure, in 15, yeah, like I understand that, but we're not in 2015 anymore. We know more about the American people, about the way they vote, and we know more about and we're also way too close to the election. Like back in 2015, yeah, Donald Trump was a joke. I remember following his Facebook page and saying, this is going to be hilarious. And it went real Nazi really fast. And I was like, okay, fuck this. And then, come time of the primary, he started picking everybody off one by one. And then we learned a new lesson then. But now it is the only, to me, scenario is likely as a woman or a person of color, most likely Nikki Haley if he wants to get those votes. There's no game in the world
I don't think
that doesn't.
Nikki Haley, but yeah.
No, I don't think he will. He will try, and then his next option is Tim Scott.
I don't think he likes Nikki Haley enough.
No, he doesn't like Nikki Haley. I think he's willing to lose over that too. I think he hates her so much that he won't even. And I think she hates him so much because she's like, fuck this. And every rational centrist person like Nikki Haley, even if you're center right, you can go, you know what? Biden's basically the same thing. It doesn't matter. Another 4 years of stability and, warmongering or whatever the fuck the people get hard-ons for in the right wing. Like, sure. Like, who cares? It's another 4 years. And then 2028, Nikki Haley comes in as the most experienced person in the field. Blah, blah, blah. And we'll lower my taxes again. Like, she's not Trump. Yeah. She's a woman. She's, I think her family's immigrants. She was an ambassador. She's a governor. Like, she fits the boxes, like she checks all the boxes.
But the party isn't there anymore.
No, it's not there anymore. But once Don's gone, and if Biden beats him,
that's not going to happen. I know that's what the establishment Republicans want. But I'm telling you right now, the party is forever changed. Like they have gotten too much red meat.
But maybe that invents a third party.
The base will. No.
In 4 years,
establishment Republicans will just become Democrats, and they'll become moderate, like conservative Democrats, and they'll start funding Democrats that are moderates.
Okay, well then, problem solved. Like then the Republicans never won a goddamn thing ever again.
The Republican Party is slowly eating itself. Yes, so, you've come to my thesis for the next 60 years.
Okay, so that's what we end on, I guess. So I mean, this is great. Well, I mean, they didn't send their best, and now it's the end of the Republican Party.
I do want to make a claim, see if either of us get it. I think that it's going to be Stefanik or Lake.
won't be Stefanik, and it is to sound like a complete asshole. It's because she looks very plain and is is a forgettable looking person, and it's a weird name. Like
Tulsi, I think Gabbard's a good choice for him.
Tulsi and
like,
the governor of South Dakota. I think you're absolutely right with one of them. Or Nikki Haley if he can get over himself. If he can get over himself and go, I want to win.
Name one time in life.
I know, but if he wants to win, every advisor can say, dude, you're going to pull in every moderate from there. Like, it just doesn't make sense to not choose that. But he's a crazy person. So, and he's senile and he like blah, blah, blah. And she's not as much of a firebrand as the South Dakota governor or Tulsi or Stefanik. But Stefanik, I just don't see it. She's no name recognition. The other person, like the South Dakota, she's got, again, she looks like Michelle Bachmann, and to be that shallow bastard, both her and Tulsi are attractive women who will pull in all those chuds that are only voting for attractiveness. Not to mention they're
that's the way he would
super
look at it.
Super right wing. Tulsi, I don't think just because of her connection to Egypt and any sort of Muslim country. Or I think it's Egypt or Iran. I don't remember which one her dad had that connection to, but it was enough to make people, the Democrats fucking not like her.
I don't think Trump cares about any of that shit.
No, I just think once that comes out, people will go, oh wait, she's a Muslim. No. That's why like Tulsi.
But they won't do that.
Maybe they don't. Yeah, maybe they won't.
I don't think that they would do that. I think that there are plenty of Republican-based general voters, A, that aren't blatantly racist, and B, there are, even the racist ones will say one of the good ones. Like once Trump's picked him, they'll just be like, "Well,
he's one of the same thing could happen with Vivek though. At that point, yeah.
Well, absolutely.
Yeah.
But they never vote for them to be president. Do you know what I mean?
Yes,
they'd let Trump pick them, and then they'd retroactively agree whatever Trump's justification is for it. Right?
Yeah.
Like that's what I think about that. So I don't think Trump's worried that any of these choices are going to alienate his base, because they're not. Like they're going to go along with whoever he picks. He is thinking who's either going to get the smart thing he should be thinking, like everyone should be thinking when they pick a VP, is who's going to get me more votes that I wouldn't get otherwise.
Again,
which is like the Rubio, the Haley, the like any of those establishment figures are going to get you money and votes that you normally wouldn't get as Donald Trump. But I think that he, as a priority, actually cares about who's going to get me more money for my legal bills, because he's using RNC money for that
that's
now.
what I'm saying. Like, so how does that work?
And who's a star, baby? Who's a star?
Nikki Haley.
So, well, but he may not be thinking. No, I disagree. Nikki Haley is not a star. She's a star among nerd Republicans, sure, but like
she comes with a bunch of billionaires. That's money, baby.
But that's not who. Yes, but like he can get most of the billionaires already. Like he wants somebody who can go on CNN and make money by saying something outrageous.
Oh, you mean from the people?
Like,
got it. Yeah.
Yeah, he wants a star. He wants somebody who can get donations in that night because she went out and said something crazy.
Then it's Kerry or the South Dakota governor. Those are my picks. They're the only two people I can
those
think
are the
of.
two big ones. And Tulsi, I think Tulsi would be good at that.
Sure,
maybe.
maybe.
I think Tulsi would be, if she was given a script, could easily memorize those talking points and charmingly say the most horrible shit in the world.
Has she been like? I know you said she's been on Fox News for like a hot second doing stuff, but is she like?
I think she was even a contributor for a while.
Oh, okay. Okay. Then I was gonna say like I haven't heard from her in so long. I just can't believe that
she
she's
made
even
a far
doing
right
anything.
turn like 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, she could be. I doubt that one, but it's Kerry. Honest to God, the South Carolina. Sorry, I keep saying South Carolina. South Dakota governor. Whatever her name, Nome. She's definitely the one. I think he was gonna pick her more.
Trump Nome, huh?
Trump Nome.
I think Trump Lake. I think the name sounds right.
Trump Lake.
I think she's enough of, yeah.
I mean, dude, she's been fighting for it. They're both TV hosts too. Like that's one. I'm more on the side of Nome only because Kerry's running for Senate. And they want to try and win that. And if they take Kerry out of that race, then there is zero chance that state's going to stay red. So they will have given up Arizona effectively and trading for maybe her. Energizing his base, but she definitely
like
will.
Trump Rubio. It's gonna suck. It's gonna be something.
See, I can see Rubio now too, but I'm just like, people are gonna rip him apart. Like, I mean, just him being called. He got made fun of more than most people outside of Ted Cruz, I guess. Like by Trump, Little Marco, Thirsty Marco. I don't know. He probably called him Thirsty Marco.
Little tiny Marco,
little thirsty
always
little
grabbing
boy.
his big glass.
Oh God. All right. Well. That's their best. That's what they sent. Or it's not their best. Yeah, that's the God, who is their best?
Congrats,
That's what I want to
audience.
know. Like,
Donald Trump.
yeah, he is their best, and he sent them.
Like,
Remember when their
he's their
best was Mitt
worst, too,
Romney
don't
and
get me
George
wrong,
Bush?
but-
God, I almost voted
Yeah.
for Mitt Romney. That's weird.
I mean,
to
George
say.
Bush is just as equally horrible as Donald Trump. He's just not open about it. Yeah.
George Bush committed more war crimes than Donald Trump, so at least Donald
Yeah,
didn't commit.
1 million dead Iraqis and Afghanis. I want to
That's-
point out.
Donald-
1 million dead people.
I don't think Donald did too much. I think, like, statistically, he's
I mean,
lower
hundreds
than
of
Obama.
thousands of people died from COVID because.
Well,
of it
oh,
that
sure, yeah,
didn't need to
COVID,
die.
obviously. But no, I mean, like, bombing campaigns. But whatever. Who cares about him?
No, I mean he did his he got plenty of drone strikes in and like, but it's not like it was peace. Like he tried to coup Venezuela. He, like there's all sorts of shit he did while he was president. That
Tried
was
to coup
he just
Venezuela? Oh, I didn't know
he,
that. That's
he just knew that like a big hot war that was absorbed by the media would look bad. But it's
Yeah.
not like he wasn't committing all the imperial horrible actions and funding death squads and sending
Yeah.
the Navy SEALs places. Like,
Yeah.
like
God. Well, all right. Yeah, that's it. So those are your potential right-wing VP picks. Hopefully none of them, hopefully none of them get picked. And it's some weirdo that we've never heard of that won't do anything.
hopefully a portal opens up and another version of me steps out of it that can float and goes, "I've come to save you all my children."
Yeah, that would be great.
And he cures all diseases and makes everyone think, "Hey, this second Andrew is pretty good."
show me what you got. That's
exactly.
That's what I'm envisioning.
That's-
I was like, what's that line?
Maybe they'll just be a MacGuffin that solves all of this. You know,
Lord,
that's what I'm hoping.
Lordy, I hope that there are tapes and that
A ring that we need to throw into fire, or something to power the DeLorean. You know,
if that were that easy. Well, I mean, the flux capacitor kind of looks like an upside down ovary, so maybe women can help save us again. I don't know.
I want to go watch Back to the Future.
Yeah,
now.
dude. Oh, I watch those like twice to 3 times a year, all 3 of them straight back to back.
They're so
Fucking
good.
Great. They're so good.
They're
Go
so
watch Back to
good.
the Future. It's it's worth more of your time than talking about these fucking people. Which
Yeah,
we just
don't
did now.
remake it, Hollywood. Just let me have
Don't remake
one.
it.
It's not-
Go see
don't
the
remake
musical, and it's a musical of it.
fine.
But
Yeah, that's fine.
I want to see Wicked tomorrow. That's me though. So I don't care. I don't care about any of these people. I don't. That's
I'm
why
not
we
doing
went so
anything
many
cool this
fucking
weekend.
tangents. Yeah,
I'm gonna smoke legal products and
yeah.
chill in my
Go to the
apartment.
beach. You could live near by a beach. Go to the beach. Like
I
that
should
sounds
go to the
great.
beach. That's
Yeah.
a good idea.
Go to the beach this weekend. Everybody, if you can go to the beach this weekend, go do that, or go do something better than thinking about these people. So
Talking about Republican
yeah,
vice
seriously.
presidential nominees.
Yeah, luckily we're in the middle of the day on Friday in our normal work day, and this is our
Yeah.
work. So, but we love you and keep voting uncommitted because it worked. There's a ceasefire. Hopefully, there's a call for one. There won't be a ceasefire. God damn it. That's all.
Bye.
Bye.
I love you.
They're not sending their best. They're sending people that have lots of problems, and they're bringing those problems with us.
You've been listening to They're Not Sending Their Best with hosts Andrew Turner and Tim Phillippe. Any news sources mentioned in this episode are listed in the show notes. The theme song for They're Not Sending Their Best is Circus by Music for Videos and was procured through Pixabay before the final version was cobbled together by Timmy Two-Step using the terrible words of Donald J. Trump. They're Not Sending Their Best is mixed and edited by Tim Phillippe at Shway Media Studios in Austin, Texas. The show was created by Andrew Turner and Tim Phillippe and is a production of Shway Media and America the Podcast Presents. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com and americathepodcast.com. Copyright 2024, all rights reserved.
This has been a production of Shway Media, all rights reserved. For more information, please visit shwaymedia.com.